Hello everybody, welcome to Just One Perspective, where the dogs are always barking, the engines are always revving, and the noise ordinance sign does nothing. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm still getting used to calling this Just One Perspective. This is of course the second video after rebranding the whole thing. I'm going to leave the email the same, so if you want to send any comments or hate mail to me, you can send that to vigilantcitizen1789 at gmail.com because I guess I am the Vigilant Citizen. And there is the first engine revving. That was a school bus. I guess they're above the law. So, thank you all so much for joining. Today's drink of choice is this vapor distilled water with electrolytes that Jarvis peeled this off of. I was trying to find where to record today. Sorry, I've got trash now I gotta deal with it. Don't worry, I am not gonna leave this. I'm not gonna litter. I'm going to dispose of this properly in a moment. For now, I will put this under my sunglasses, which are right here, not on my face, so that they don't get blown away. I appreciate your concern. For those of you who are concerned about the fate of the planet that we're all living on, I know it's important for some of you. Look at that crystal clear water. I'm going to take a drink of it right now. My God, that is good. Anyway, I'm standing here today instead of sitting right here. Yes, that is the chair that I normally sit in, because it's a little later in the day. And I couldn't quite find anywhere in the yard that wouldn't have me completely backwashed or have the sun in my eyes to where it was like covered by this hat and then I looked like a raccoon a little bit. So I am not a professional. This is the best I could do. Thank you so much for your patience and for bearing with me. Noise ordinance. My older brother says that I should get a shirt that says that, noise ordinance, and sell it. I reminded him that my audience is not large enough to monetize quite yet. But if you would like a shirt that says that, just let me know. Maybe I'll make one. Maybe I'll make one just for me and for him. That'll be it. Anyway, today I wanted to follow up on a topic that I spoke a little bit about last year, which was know your emotional state. And I've got a little bit of follow-up on that one because, sorry, Kepler is walking. I got to be careful here because this whole setup, it's on a tripod and everything, and the dogs just don't care, so I've just got to watch them carefully. So last year I talked a little bit about knowing your emotional state, why it's important to do so, taking a pause, one of those strategic pauses if you're angry, trying to understand why you're angry, where your own triggers are, that kind of thing. And I don't mean that word in the way that so many people use that word, trigger, right? I mean it like you can be legitimately, have a legitimate reaction to something, and that's what I mean by that. So, not the over-dramatic version that has taken over the cultural zeitgeist of the day. And if you know what the word zeitgeist means, let me know if I used that correctly or not, because I'm not entirely sure that I did. So, recently at work, I have been reading up on personality types using the Myers-Briggs personality type. That is the one that assesses you based on if you're extroverted or introverted, if you're observant or feeling, if you are intuitive or thinking, or if you are judging or prospecting. I believe mine is ENF. I always forget the last one. I believe it's ENFP, I want to say, which is extroverted, intuitive, feeling, prospecting. Or am I judging? I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. I know the first three for sure. But I was using this website called 16personalities.com to read about my staff, the team who reports to me, and because I think as somebody who is in a supervisory position, it's important to understand the people who work, not for me, but for the organization whom I supervise. Because it'll make me a more effective manager in that capacity if I know what their personality type is, how better to approach them, what might trigger them, and what their communication style might be. So this website has been pretty helpful, 16personalities.com. Well, as it does this whole set, this whole write-up of all these different personality types, even gives them little names like Sentinel, Virtuoso, things like that. Really fun. But I was reading through those of my staff, and again, I don't force them to take this, but I highly encourage them to do so. And I tell them why, because it's very helpful for me since I'm in the business of people. We're in a different business as well, but me specifically, I'm in the business of people and making them the best they possibly can, so it's helpful for me to know how best to interact with them. But as I was reading through all of those, which I think was important, I turned into mine and I read mine. And it's not the first time that I've read through mine, but every time I do, I'm actually quite astounded at how closely it gauges my personality, how accurate it is about who I am, how I behave, what I do, and sometimes I even read it and I think, wow, I forgot that that's what I do. That's something that I do and I don't even think about, and this might be how it affects other people or how it affects my daily life. So I just wanted to take a moment to encourage all of you to go to that website or a similar website and take one of those quizzes, because you never know what you're doing that you're just completely unconscious of, that you're projecting out there towards people, or that you are internalizing without realizing it, or that you're saying or doing that's just sort of a habit and seems normal to you, but is actually quite different from how other people think, feel, or see the world. And it'll go through your strengths, it'll go through your weaknesses. And just to be clear, this video is not in any way sponsored by that company or that website, nor is it sponsored by this water bottle. It's just, I think, a useful tool for yourself. Oh, there's Jarvis. Oh, you better keep it clean, Jarvis. Keep it clean. You're on camera. All right, he's just eating stuff. That's great. If he starts rolling in it or squatting, we're going to have a little bit of a problem. But he's totally whitewashed now, so it's okay. Maybe you won't be able to see him. So it's a really useful tool just for helping you understand yourself and understand your own emotional state, and maybe even understand others around you as far as what they're up to, why they communicate the way they do. So I highly recommend go out to that site. Take the quiz. It'll tell you what your personality type is. It'll tell you about your strengths, your weaknesses, some things that you may not have even realized about yourself, especially if you're the type of person who doesn't really think about these kind of things, about people and personalities and emotions and things like that. You may actually find it very useful to better understand yourself, which may help you understand your emotional state. So that's the message that I have for you today. I'm going to leave it at that before I continue to ramble on about a bunch of other stuff that doesn't mean anything, or before somebody starts revving up their engine out here, climbing a hill, motorcycles or whatever. So thank you all so much for your time. That is just one perspective. It is mine and mine only. Thanks for your time. I will see you next time, and until then, stay vigilant.